Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Depending on where you're watching from, this is Cyber Sound with another video, and we're going to walk through the box. Vulnversity. Vulnversity is a free box on Tryhackme, as you can see, it's a free room rather. Everybody can come work through. So without wasting time, you would want to deploy your machine, which I already did here. My own is already spinning, and then you just obviously check this, and then next up we'll go on to Reconnaissance. um Running nmap. It's something I've done before in my other boxes in previous videos I've made, so you can go on and check all of those. But here there are specific commands that are given to us, so we'll just use this. If you use other commands, you may get a little bit frustrated. So let's just go with what they've given us. So I said reconnaissance obviously is to gather information. Is one of the first things to do is from military. The word reconnaissance, information gathering, is a military term used for information gathering. And then so you see, gather information about this machine using a network scanning tool called nmap. There are other network scanning, there are other information gathering tools, network scanning tools, and all of that. There's Angry IP. There are other things I use for network reconnaissance to check for different things. One of those is Nicto. Nicto is a tool, a command line tool as well. But here we're going to be using nmap for this room. So go ahead and copy this. You could just copy this. Once your machine has booted and the target IP is visible, you can just copy that. So I would advise you copy the whole thing, excluding the dots at the end, the period, the full stop here. All right. So I've gone ahead and I spawned this up and I waited for my own to finish because nmap can take a while for it to load. And this is me connecting to Tryhackme's VPN. So I'm not using the what's it called, the Atata machine. I'm using my own Kali Linux. All right. You can see my IP address here because I'm tunneling into what's it called, Tryhackme's VPN. All right, great. I'm tunneling with their service now. So great. Having done that, let's jump right in and answer the questions. Obviously, these are a few nmap flags you can run. I would usually use this when I run nmap. It's a cheat sheet. Yeah, it is. Geeks for Geeks. They are the it's on their website, Geek for Geeks. They have a beautiful cheat sheet for Nmap, right? It's something I've been using for a while, like something I would continue using when I was running my the what's it called, operation tester parts. I think I said it in the video. It's something I used a lot. They reminded me of it. Like just go through, see it has different kinds of scan, different kinds of scan. All right. So back to where we were, or where we are rather. So these are EMA flags, the different things you use, attempts to determine the version. Just you can just go through and read through all of this. It's not, I really don't want to waste time on this video. So there are many mmap cheat sheets online you can use too. Yeah, so Geek for Geeks is one of them. So click complete, obviously. So scan the box. How many ports are open? Because I've done it already. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ports are open. These are the ports. These are the state, service, and the version. So obviously ports, we have 6 ports open. What's the next question? So what version of Squid Proxy is running on the machine? Squid Proxy, Squid Proxy, Squid Proxy, Squid Proxy. Yeah, HTTP Proxy 3.5.12. What is next? 3.5.12. How many ports will nmap scan if the flag was dash p dash 400? It's a simple logic. It's not something I'm going to do because nmap in itself takes a lot of time. All right, so what they want you to do is to run the nmap tag 400 and the IP address. But I'm not going to do that because nmap takes a lot of time to run. But it's a simple logic. By default, nmap scans the first 1,000 ports. All right, so it scans it in the order of 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 1,000 ports. I think Geek for Geeks has something about that shown to us. I can't, yeah, I can't really find it. Well, Geek for Geek, MAP typically runs the first 1,000 ports, so it does 1 to 1,000. So by default, which means if you run first 400 ports, what you have is 1 to 400. Yeah, obviously there's no scan that starts from 0. So it starts with 1, port 1, port 2. There's no port bearing port 0. The idea of 0 comes from programming. but there's no ports bearing all of zero. So it starts from 1 to 400 in itself. So you have 400, which is what's here. So what's the most likely operating system used in this machine? Now they gave us a hint, but I'll also do something. So they say we should run nmap with the tag O flag. Great. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you. We already have something. We have a host, Vulnversity. We have an OS, Unix, Linux. So it tells us it's a Linux. All right, it tells us it's a Linux machine, and Ubuntu operating system is the obvious. Like gives us an Apache HTTP, so it's an Ubuntu. All right, but they said we should run the operating system is an Ubuntu operating system Linux kernel. So they said we should run a taco for that. So let's do this. Okay, so it's not running. All right. Okay. Yeah, I really don't know why that's happening. It's a capital O. Okay. Okay, I've seen the error here. It says requires root privilege, so my bad. I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to put sudo. I didn't take note of that. My bad. So you see again, it's taking so much time. All right, so we'll come back to this scan when it's done. But if you come here, you see there's an Ubuntu operating system. It's mmap basic mmap scans has a lot. There's a number of usually when I run mmap, I have a kind of sequence that looks something like okay. So let's go to a different tab. So I have something that looks like this. Mmap tab. All right. Yes. Then all right, something like that. Um, or you can just do this and then you put in your IP address or your IP address range, whichever. Yeah, I really hope you can see this. I'll just expand this, hoping you can see all I've been doing since. Great, so this is running. We're going to allow this to run. Okay, so so I'm going to reduce this a little as well, just so that it's visible to everyone. So Ubuntu. So what port is the web server running on? Web server. Obviously, that's how we know we have. For us to be able to know we have a web server, we should be able to connect or put the IP address on our web browser and then see that there's something open. So from our ports, obviously, we know that web servers usually would run HTTPS by default port 40, port 443. But in this case, we have HTTP and running on port 3333. So wherever the HTTP is, it's by default it's supposed to run on port 40 and port 443, but it was changed to port 3333 for this one, and then we have it 3333 here. It's essential to ensure you're doing reconnaissance thoroughly. Yeah, the idea is so that you gain as much information as you can gain, because when you come to pen testing, red teaming, and all of hacking in general, about 70% of your work is information gathering, because it's a circle. No matter if you gather certain information from the outside as an attacker coming in and you're able to go in, you find new information, then you begin to gather information, you find new surfaces, then you begin to gather information on how to pass that stage, then you go again and you begin to gather information. It's all you go from war driving, dumpster diving, whatever, social media, and you gather a lot of information, lots and lots of information. All right, so what is the flag for enabling verbose mode? Tag V, capital V actually enables verbose. All right, so while this is still, so this is done. You see, it brought out the same information to us, and then it brought out literally the same thing. Aggressive OS guesses, Linux, network camera, Linux. Yeah, so it's still the same Ubuntu. Like there's literally no difference here. If you want to run the dash verbals, you could. That's what's here already. It's the tag V that is here already. All right. So you could just come to Geek for Geeks and then play around with all the types of attacks or all the types of scan you can run on Mmap. So without wasting time, we'll jump straight into this. Now, Gobuster is a brute force directory busting tool or that busting tool, a brute forcing tool for directories. So instead of brute forcing username and password, which it can still do, but it's mainly like so we have Gobuster, we have Dubbuster, we have Dub, we have Amas. Yeah, a whole lot of them. There's for fourth, all right, and there's W4s. All of these are directory busting tools. They can be used for the normal brute forcing attacks, but they are also directory busting. The same way Bob suite can be used for normal directory busting, and the same way Bob suite can also be used for password brute forcing as well. All right, so but its main aim is to the idea of directory brute forcing is to force out those hidden files, those hidden directories. All right, so it's a fast, as you can see, using a fast directory, locating directories from using GoBuster. We're going to use a fast directory brute forcing tool called GoBuster. You locate directory which can use to upload a shell. Great. So if you've not installed it on Windows, you can download it here. On Kali, you literally just copy all of this and then paste it here. So let's use a new. All right. So I already have GoBuster installed. Yes, you can see. So the next thing is to so they tell you that you have word list located somewhere. So if you come on your system and you literally do this word lists and then you tap, you see the different word lists you have. All right, and you can pick a directory. When it's blue, it's a directory. When it's not blue, yeah, it's a file, stuff like that. All right, so let's go with what they've sent to us. So they said if you use Kali, you can find many word lists under this. Yeah, you can also use the word list for directories located under. It's the same thing. User share word list, directory buster, directory list 3.0 in the above attack. Great. So in other words, this is what you're going to use now. This is the syntax for GoBuster. Once you've installed GoBuster, any tool you install, you can actually do a man and that tool. So we can do man GoBuster. Yeah, so it gives us a manual page for that particular tool. And you can also do GoBuster. Um, yeah, it also gives you the commands you can use for that. So I'm just going to paste rather what they gave to us. So when you have GoBuster, the directory, the directory literally are pasting the URL for it to look for the directory. So TAQ is for the URL. You're going to put the URL. For this one is a HTTP. If you have anyone that's HTTPS. Now, because we found this, I think we should open this up. Since it told us from here that there's a web server located at port 3333. I think it's a good idea for us to open this up and see what lies in here. Okay, I think we have something here, and it's called Vulnversity. Literally, the name of the box we are talking. Vulnversity. You can go through, play around. If you come to your Nmap scan, it's already picked that it's Vulnversity, the host name Vulnversity. So coming down the hosts literally, and then obviously if it was on a port 80, you may not need you will not necessarily need to put this because this on the different ports. If you do the same IP address by default it's supposed to be on a port 80, but it's not a port 80. So if you do this, there's nothing found exactly. And if you do this port 80, there's still nothing found. All right, so because it was redirected to a different port. Excuse me. Great. So we're down to GoBuster, and then this is the GoBuster flag. The usage tag E prints the full URL list in your console. That's to say, if you okay, we're going to run it. If you use the GoBuster and then you do not put tag E, okay, we're going to run it. It's going to print just the directory. It won't print the full part. So let's say we have a directory with the name images or about page, an about page, an about directory. It's going to print just forward slash. So it's going to print something that looks like this. Let's put something that looks like this, forward slash images, uh, forward slash, or just something like this, images. Yeah. So that's where tag E or dash E rather comes in. Dash U is the URL, which is something you already use. Dash W is for the path to your word list. U and P is for username and password, which is not what we're using right now. Proxy for to use for request, and HTTP cookies is not something we're going to use right now. All right, so we've copied this. Now the word list, remember from what they gave us, so I'll just go back and copy the word list they gave us to use. Or you could type it out yourself. Okay, let's see user share, user share word list, direct Gobuster directory. Dobers, if I can spell, directory, directory lists 1.0. So I have 1.0 txt. Great. Fingers crossed, and let's allow this to run. So you see it's beginning to run, and it's processing a whole lot of information here. Okay, great. So we see a particular directory comes up, forward slash images. Great. So now this is what I'll show. Okay, so let me run this also here. I'll just copy this same command, everything word for word, and I'll paste it here again. And I'm going to show you using the tag E. All right, so I'll cancel that for now. Okay. So I'm going to do a, you can actually put it anywhere actually, and then you run this. You see, there's literally no difference. It's just the one prints the full part. The only advantage is you literally just copy the full part, but literally there's no advantage. So look at it, it just prints the full part. So this and this, there's actually no difference. One just prints the full parts and one doesn't. All right. Okay. Having said that, so let's go back. We have images. Yeah, images here. This one. This is what it printed out, not the other way. But we see that we have a status redirect. So this is the full parts, yeah, and this one just prints the directory. But we see that we have a redirect to images forward slash. So let's try something. So let's use the full part that was printed out to us. We'll copy link address and come here. I think we're done with this, and paste this and hit on images, and let's see where it leads us to. Okay, so if you notice, it automatically redirected us as well. It puts in the it's backward slash now, the forward slash now for us by itself. You can come and we have images. So let's see if there's a question to answer. I successfully configured Gobuster. You check that. What is the directory that has an upload form page? An upload form page. Okay, so which means you are going back to Gobuster. So without wasting much time, I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to pick another file. So let's use, is it the medium? Yeah, I'm just trying to, I would have said you should go through all of these, but you just, when you come to pen test, or obviously patience is a keyword, is a factor, is a skill actually. But for sake of time, I'll just go with the medium. I think if I remember correctly, that's where it is. So I'll put my tag E here, and then so that I can be able to copy. Okay, we have one printed out for us. So you could, if you have a system that is really good, you may want to run multiple. So we have Gobuster. So this was what, medium. So let's go with small, and let's see what happens in small. Yeah, so you can allow both of them run. Okay, but it's looking like I'm already seeing what I'm seeing. So this seems to be the directory, the word list I'm looking for, medium. medium.ext. I know there's just something we ran here. Okay, we did not run this. So coming back here and just waiting and waiting. If you notice, all of them have a 301. They are all redirecting to the forward slash. So we have a number of directories given to us. Okay, same thing happening on the right, same thing happening on the left, but all of them are redirecting. That's good to know that everything is redirecting, and they are all printing out the full path for us. So not just um, the directory itself. They're printing out the full parts. You print out the full parts and you give us a redirect. You print out the full parts, you give us a redirect. Okay, what is the directory that has an upload form page? While we're waiting, like I said, I said it already, patience is a very great skill. You may want to be checking something else. So like I was mentioning the other time, I have another tool I use for um, all of this. It's called Nicto. So Nicto tag H for the hosts, and I'm just going to do this. Nicto gives you certain information. It just gives you a lot of information about the service, certain exploits. It gives you the IP address. If it was a host name you posted, you put for it. So you see, it gives you an IP. Excuse me. It gives you the host. It gives you the target port by which you can use to access the web server, if there is. Okay. So we're still waiting for this. Okay. So while we're waiting for that, I'll just close this. Okay. Okay. So we have something coming out here. So we have images, we have CSS, we have JavaScript, and we have fonts. At least we know that it's not images because we've checked images. People that write code, it's not CSS and it's not JavaScript, definitely not fonts as well. So we have internal. Not to waste our time, I'm just going to cancel this because I've seen what I'm looking for. All right, so you could allow yours to run just so that you can prove that it's that. So I'll copy this link and I'll paste this in a different tab. Great, so it allows us to upload. Literally, the question says, what is the directory that has an upload form page? So internal, that's what we see here. Internal, this is the upload form page. Great, so we're doing good. Now compromising the web server. Now that you have found a form to upload files, you can leverage these to execute payload or little compromising the server. Will force the upload form to identify which extensions are not blocked. So it's a secure code practices to block certain extensions that have been tagged malicious or something that has been frequently used by attackers to upload and to gain remote shell. One of them is PHP, obviously. And then you see we have, according to this text, we have PHP, PHP 3, PHP 4, PHP 5, PHTML. Developers with knowledge in cybersecurity would actually block all of this. They'll restrict all of these extensions. So if you upload a file that it has PHP, it might get blocked, which is what this particular text here is saying. So to do this, we'll use Bob Suite. If you need clarification on what Bob Suite is, or how to set it up, please complete Bob Suite's module. If you haven't, I would actually recommend everyone completing Bob Suite's module. Um, you need it to complete this room because you need to have configured your Bob Suite proxy over here. But if you haven't, you literally just go to Foxy Proxy. It's quite okay. It's not stressful. Go to Foxy Proxy, install what's it called now? Um, Foxy Proxy is the name. Then you install it on your device and you configure it to work with Bobsy to put an IP address, a local host rather, and then you put in your local host and then you're good to go. So this is spinning up. This is spinning up. Great. So this is how Bobsuit looks like if you've not seen Bobsuit. before. Now the beauty of Bob Suite has a community edition, which is this, and it has a pro edition. If you're going for the pro edition, which means you obviously know what you're looking for. All right. So before we use Bob Suite, according to this text, it says to do this, you use Bob Suite. Now, using Bob Suite, you're going to use Intruder, used to automate, used for automating customized attacks. To begin, let's make a word list with the following extension. So you need to have a word list that has literally just this thing. So you could just copy this as they are. I think I have mine somewhere here, so I can clean this and do an ls. So I have php and php2. Let me see which one. That's php. Great. So I have mine here. .php, .php3, .php4, 5, and html. So what we're going to do was the next thing to do. So we see the same thing, they have their own inside here. Now make sure Bobsit is configured to intercept traffic and all of that. So literally just do this. Turn, if you have Bobsit configured, you just turn it on. Sniper attack is what we're going to be doing. But first of all, you need to be able to intercept. All right. So you come turn your intercept on, and then where's our upload form? Okay, now what I wanted. So let's do this first. Okay, then we'll browse to a particular extension that we want. Home desktop document download download. Okay, so I want to just upload something quite simple. Okay, so yeah, this is what I'm looking for, new.php. So literally, okay, so let's go this way. I'm going to create a new text file, which is I'll remove my new. So there's no new.php again. So I'm going to create, and I prefer using the text to nano, or we could use something else. Let's use the one up here. This is a text editor. Yeah, this one. So I'll just put something like P in it, and then I'm going to, okay, sorry, that's a mistake. So P and then save as. So it's a new file, so it will ask me to save. So I'm going to do new.php. Great. And it's under home. So I'm going to save it, new.php. And I'm going to minimize this. So if I do ls, and I have new.php. So we'll come here and then browse to our home, new.php. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get which extension is not blocked so that we can be able to know how to set up our reverse shell. We have a reverse shell from Pentest Monkey, but we'll get there. All right, so the extension is it's a PHP file. Obviously it's a PHP file. Have a PHP extension. A Word document has a .doc extension. A PDF file has a .pdf extension. You get the gist. So this is .php. So now we can turn this on, have our intercepts ready, and submit. So it's supposed to intercept, and then now we have our file new.php. Now next thing is what? Go to intruder tab, send to intruder, and then sniper. The way we do that is to right click here and send to intruder. So you see intruder here is going to lit up the moment you send it. And then if you come to intruder, there's something that Bobsuit does. Bobsuit is created for attacks. So if you click on this ad here, it selects everything. What it's trying to select is possible attack points that it thinks that you submit. So it's not wrong by highlighting everything here, but that's not what we want. Great. So this is all we just want. New.php. And we are going to add. So this is the point that we want. This is the point we are trying to force. All right. So if you check, they have their own named as shell, and then you added that, and we added that. So here it is, and we added that. It's the same thing here. You could choose to still name your own shell. It doesn't really matter. At this point, we've intercepted. Literally, what Bobs did is to pause the system, and then you could try many attack. And which, when it's successful, you know it's successful. Then you forward it to the main application, and then yeah. So a sniper attack is what we are using. Am I right? Yes, a sniper attack. Click the positions tab. You find blah blah blah. Is something already done? Okay, now that we know what extension we can use for our payload, okay, so click payload and select the sniper. Okay, it even show us how we are adding the file, but anyways, so you come down here, click the payload. All right, so because now here, check attack type. There are 4 types. Sniper allows only one payload. Battering ram, obviously if you've taken this, you'd understand that better, so let's not waste time. So sniper attacks only one particular point. You know your username, you don't know your password. So sniper attacks, so the way a sniper is literally at a particular time, a sniper can only attack one thing at a particular time, compared to cluster bombs that does the two at the same time. So literally attacks everything. Word and password, and username and password one side, username and password the other side. So it flips it around. All right, but this is sniper. One thing, you must know your username. If you're using it for password attack now, you must know your username, and then you're trying the password, or you must know the password and you're trying the username. Here we just have one space to fill. If you come back to this place, we have one space to fill, which is the upload, which is what we're doing here. Shell. So we'll just, you can come choose to type the extensions since they are not much, but in the case where you can actually just type it .php and hit enter, it's hit add rather enter. But if in the case where you want to load a larger file, obviously you won't come and be typing everything word for word. It takes a long time. So you put everything in a word list and you just load the word list. So remember we had a PHP. So it's PHP I'm going to load in here. Great. Having set all of that, we are now going to start the attack. It's going to tell me a lot of bullshit about being demo. Great. But now, the first error I'm seeing, I'm just going to talk about this and then I'm going to leave here because I've done this over and over. Is the first error I'm seeing is that we have all status 200. It's supposed to be redirect or what's it called? Extension rejected or stuff like that. It's not supposed to show us this status code of 200. No, 300, 400, not found, something. Just show us something else. Error, something, not 200. Now, if you come here, you see the other thing that makes me. So when I came here, I did a number of things around here. I changed the code, did a number of things, changed the file, changed the extension. I did a number of things. So if you come to the response, which is what the web server is supposed to respond with, you come and you see something here. I'm looking for, okay, so I'll just reduce this and instead swipe. So extension not allowed, which is okay. So if you come down here, you come down again, you see extension not allowed. Okay, extension not allowed. Okay, extension not allowed. Okay, extension not allowed. Okay, extension not allowed, extension not allowed. So you begin to wonder what's happening. There is something wrong, particularly with the web server, or the way it is set up. There's nothing wrong with Bob Suite. I've used Bob Suite multiple times. There's nothing wrong with Bob Suite. It's something from the application or the box, the way it was created. So we're going to leave all of that. And literally, that's what we're supposed to do on Bob Suite. But since Bob Suite is not working, you can choose to close all tabs on Bob Suite. And yes, this is supposed to happen. Because remember, we're supposed to intercept, we are intercepting this on Bob. So because we have Bob Suite closed, now let's load that page again and let's resend. Great. So the file we sent said extension not allowed. Okay. So that's PHP new.php here. Says extension not allowed. So without wasting your time, I'll tell you what is allowed. Actually, it shows here that what is allowed is PHTML. So if you read through, you see that what we So now that we know extension we can use for our payload, we can progress. When you've done it, you are going to see that it's PHTML that is allowed. All right. So to gain a remote access to this machine, follow the steps and edit the PHP reverse shell and edit it to your turn zero. So first and foremost, you need to go and download the shell here. So I'll just open this in a new tab. So it's from Pentest Monkey, very, very great resource on GitHub. So first and foremost, you would either copy this and put in a text file, or you could just download this. Actually came and I downloaded this raw file. All right, or you could do the long parts, highlight and copy, whichever you want to do, or you download and then copy the raw part. Obviously, if you download it, you need to navigate to your downloads. All right, so you see I have it here. PHP reverse shell. Now, the reason I have three is because I was trying this web server to see which extension was going to, where is it now? To see which of the extensions are going to work. All right, so now let's try. We've tried PHP. Let's go to my downloads. We tried PHP and we see that it didn't work. So let's try PHP 3. All right, obviously, okay. I think we can skip that since you already told us that PHTML is the right one. Great. So now, so what you do is when you download it, you'd rename it. If you downloaded it, it will not probably, it will come in as um, php You need to rename this to PHTML, either using Nano or using this text editor here, this one. Yeah, where my cursor is right now, this one. So if any of them is your choice, there are other multiple text editors on Linux or Kali, Parrot, whichever. So we'll come to now rename the file to .html. We are going to listen to incoming connection using netcat. Run the following command. Now, when I do netcat, I like to have everything in a separate tab where I can be able to observe everything that is happening. Great. So it says netcat. Now, when you come in here, let me just show you something. You scroll down, it tells you to change this and to change this, because when you do a netcat, you're literally calling to the machine. So you are sending this file somewhere, and if the extension is accepted, the file goes in and it loads. All right, it runs, and then when it runs, it calls back home. It's like a beacon, so it calls back home and then says it calls back home using this IP address. There's an IP address here. All right, the code is meant to ensure it calls back home. And then when it calls back home, it calls back to this IP address and then using this port. So it knows that it's supposed to do something. All right, so it goes and it enters and it's calling back home, yo, I mean, what do you want me to do? All right, and stuff like that. If it finds this port, it opens. If it doesn't find it, well, there's no shell for you. So it tells you to change this because there's a default IP address and there is a default port. I just left 123.123 works. You need to change this IP address. If you're tunneling into Tryhackme, it's the same IP address over here, or you could literally use the if config. Let's use if config. So you see your turn 0, that's your IP address here. Since you're tunneling, you're using a VPN. Turn 0 is going to be your IP address. All right. Or there's another way, if you're not so sure, you can go to this. So let's open this and then going to this, it tells you connected successful, then your IP address is, yeah, this is the same IP address. This one here is the same one up here, right? If one doesn't convince you, three should convince you. So now upload the shell and navigate to this. Great. So by default, like I said, when it comes to pen testing, there's a whole lot of patience involved. So let's browse to PHTML. Remember, our listener is listening here, and then we come here and we submit PHTML. It tells us success, and then we come here and we don't see anything. By default, one way for you to even know that your shell is successful, it's not supposed to load completely. It's supposed to pause the application and throw you a shell. All right, so does that even make sense? Okay, it doesn't make sense. So you need to play around, but because it's a box, they already gave us the solution to it. So let's go to what they gave us. So because a box, usually I'll always play around with it. So it tells us internal uploads, play around the directory. That's what I would usually do. Internal, then upload. So we have internal and then we have index. By default, we are seeing an upload here. What I'll usually do is to actually put the upload, but because sorry, my bad. Okay, so but because of time, I'm just going to do this. Uploads is what they said. Uploads. All right. So I wanted to see. That's why I'm coming here. We would have just gone through their part, which is something you can do. You can just copy this and avoid all these things I'm doing right now. Machine is expiring soon. Let me see how many minutes do I need to add. 40 minutes. That should be fine. Okay. So no, let me just add an extra hour. Okay. So you're good to go. Good. So we have uploads and all of this. But let's come here and let's play around. So you come to uploads. So now we see our shell. It already uploaded, which is not supposed to upload. All right. So it's supposed to have gone through that arrangement of IP address, port, internal, / uploads, not / index. All right. That's the error now. It's supposed to have gone through uploads, not indexed. So if you click on this, now watch. You click on this because the next thing, obviously, when you click on this, is supposed to come up here. All right, when you click on this, it's supposed to come up here. Now notice this is going back and forth, back and forth. It's not going to load. If you come here, you see we have a shell. All right, so let's do who am I. It tells us some data, so at least we know we have a shell. If I do ID, UID, still data, then I do ls. Now this is not looking pretty. This is taking a lot of space. What I usually do, or what we should do, is to open up a TTY shell, spawning a TTY shell. It just makes it beautiful. There's nothing special about it. Um, so you could copy this. If this is just all we need, because I don't need it to do anything, I'll just paste it here, and I want to edit this, and I'll copy this back and paste in my shell. Great. Great. So now if I do ls, it makes it prettier. All right. Okay. Time variable not set. That's fine. It's because I'm used to clearing my screen. Great. So the next thing, so now we see the same thing. We have a shell around here. It tells us the same thing, can access, blah, 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 blah. So answer the following question. What common file would you want to upload to exploit this server to see that it's blocked? So by default, PHP is the main extension that is actually blocked. All right. Different variations of PHP, so it's actually PHP. All right. So I understand the Bobsy and tool and its purpose during pen testing. What extension is allowed after running the above exercise? Obviously, PHTML is what we use when compiling the above exercise. I successfully uploaded. Yeah. All of that. Um, what is the name of the user who manages the web server? Great. So we have a user. So let's navigate to home and ls. So it doesn't look like much, but this is the user. All right. So I would usually just see the into Bill. Bill is a name. Ls. Okay, so we see now at least, even if we're not so sure that B was the person, we're not so sure if this was a directory, we just tried to move into a directory and then you went on. So if we had done something like cat bill, it was not going to open because bill is a directory. So we're going to bill and then ls, we're going to, since now is a user dot, oh, sorry. So we're going to do user.txt. Yeah, great. So at least we know we have a user.txt, so we understand that Bill is the person who manages it. You can copy Bill. What is the user flag? Is what I just cut out. So it tells you, it gives you a hint here. Bill home user.txt, and you'll be fine, which is what we have around here. All right. So you just copy this word for word and paste. Good. Having done that, we have the last one, which is privilege escalation. All right. So you just come in and read all of this and have a beautiful understanding of all of it. So I'm just going to go straight to it. Challenge time. We have guided you through this file. Unleash your skill exploit. This system further escalate your privilege and answer the following questions. On the system, search for suite files. Which file stands out? So when you read this, you're going to understand suite. Set in user ID, the owner permission, and then it's usually one of the methods people use to exploit and gain root privileges. All right, so use the command to find this. So what we are going to do is to find all the sweet, I'm going to call it sweet bits. All right, so on this box that we have access to, I'm going to do this. Yes. So now we see a whole lot of information spitting out to us, a buckload of information spitting out to us. Not pretty. All right. So you would want to see there's a whole lot of permission denied, permission denied, permission denied, permission denied. These are the ones that are available, but then permission denied, permission denied. Yeah, a lot of mess. And then you come up again, and there are also other things that you can use. All right, these are the other things you can use, but I'm going to show you something I copied here. Yeah, this is a prettier way of doing the same thing. So watch how this makes it cleaner. It doesn't give us all the permission denied, but yeah, so you see, it just gives us things clean. Now for a pen tester, you're going to answer this question of which one stands out. You're going to come to a tool we use called GTFO beans. Come to GTFO beans, and then um, you would really want to just copy all of this. So find, and then okay, this is the command we run. So you want to check this new UID map. Let's see if it exists. New UID map. There's nothing like that. Then you try the next one. What's the next one? CHFM. CHFN. Like that. You enter for, so for to avoid wasting your time, there are a few of them that exist, but the only one that has, since what we're looking for is a suite. Yeah. The only one that has suite is being system CTL. So if you check here, um it should be down here. Yeah, this is it, system CTL. So if you copy this and you paste this in GTFO bins, you see it has sudo and suite. So if you come here, this is what we're looking for. Since it's suite you're looking for and not sudo. All right. So I know somebody will be wondering, what the hell is GTFO bin? So it's a created list of Unix boxes that can be used to bypass local security and even do privilege escalation. All right. So systemctl. So you click on suite. This is all we need. Forget this sudo install. Yeah, it's not necessary since systemctl exists on the box, and it exists on the box. We can be able to use that to bypass. There's no, it's already installed. So you need to copy this. All right, I have it copied out here. Great. So now if you look at what's on the screen and what I have copied here, you notice a little difference, just a little difference, nothing much. All right. First of all, you see the TF make time directory and service, echo service, the same thing, type onshot, exec. Now in the exec is where we have the difference. What this exec is doing is calling out to ID. So you are printing ID into this file, a temporary file called output. All right. But in our case, what we want to print out is not ID. All right. So if we come down back to the box, you see what is the value, what is the root flag value. All right, so let's just go straight up. Where is that? So what we're doing is we are going to cut out, obviously cut is to print to screen. Literally, that's what it means, print to screen. But instead of doing ID, what you're telling it is you want to get the ID um, of you want to get the ID of that particular user. That's what you're looking for, ID. But what we're looking for, we're telling it to cut. So when we say cut, we tell it cut into the root directory. And then inside the root directory, there is supposed to be a root.txt file. What we're saying is push all of that into this particular output folder, a temporary file called this. All right. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Great. So let's now come here. So I'm going to do something quick. Just permit me. Okay. So there's nothing here. Let's see where we are. Okay, so let's do CD home. You can do it from anywhere. That's why I want to leave that particular place I am. CD view. Great. So you can even enter CD view. From anywhere you can run this. Great. So from here, we will just copy this line by line. And I'm going to show you another difference. So let me just show another difference so that we won't need to come back here again. Now, when you've done that, you see install is correct. Wanted by is correct. Then if you come here, you see we have a dot /systemctl. But if you look at my file, I have a bin systemctl. If you look up here, we have a dot as well. But if you come to our box, what we have is a bin systemctl. So this is what we want. So we only just changed that. All right, change that for the two of them. So that's the only difference now. Now let's complete our attack. So TF, you want to copy and paste. Great. Okay. That's going somewhere else. I totally forgot that I have another. Okay. Control C. So you ensure you're copying it correctly. The wrong place. Okay. Yeah, wanted by. Great. Service created. Successful. And then the last one. If this is successful, then we're good to go. Great. So, if for any reason you have an issue, this is not creating or whatsoever. So now the next thing is to cd into temporary file. That's where we told you to create a file. If you do ls, you're supposed to see a number of information alongside. So under ls, you see the file output, temporary file output. So if yours was not created, for whatsoever reason, any of them did not create, you come in and you remove all of this. All right, so just copy and paste and then hit enter and then remove. All right, but since it was created successfully, I'll just count outputs. Great, cut outputs. This is our flag. You can copy this and you'd come to paste this here. So you see it tells us the same thing. Being system city has already given us a hint. All right, and that's the end of this particular box. I hope you enjoyed this particular box. Do like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.